Yesterday a child came out to wander, caught a dragonfly inside a jar. Fearful, and the sky was full of thunder, and tearful at the falling of a star. And the seasons, they go round and around, and the painted ponies go up and down. We're captured on a carousel of time. We can't return, we can only look behind from where we came, and go round and around and around in the circle game. You should totally join me on those choruses. I don't know what y'all are doing. You started, you stopped. I want you on there. Then the child moved 10 times around the seasons, skated over 10 clear frozen streams. Words like when you're older must appease him, and promises of someday make his dreams. And the seasons, they go round and around, and the painted ponies go up and down. We're captured on a carousel of time. We can't return, we can only look behind from where we came, and go round and around and around in the circle game. 16 springs and 16 summers gone now. The cartwheels turn to car wheels through the town. They tell him, take your time, it won't be long now. If you drag your feet too slow, the circle's down. And the seasons, they go round and around, and the painted ponies go up and down. We're captured on the carousel of time. We can't return, we can only look behind from where we came, and go round and around and around in the circle game. So the years spin by, and now the child is 20. Though his dreams have lost some grandeur coming true, there'll be new dreams, maybe better dreams and plenty, before the last revolving year is through. And the seasons, they go round and around, and the painted ponies go up and down. We're captured in the carousel of time. We can't return, we can only look behind from where we came, and go round and around and around in the circle game, and go round and around and around in the circle game.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for coming out on this chilly January morning. Welcome to the Namaqua Unitarian Universalist Congregation. This is a come as you are congregation. No matter who you are, what your faith, or who you love, you are welcome here. My name is Kathy Hartman, and I serve this beloved truth-seeking congregation as one of your worship associates. Today we have for you one of our most treasured traditions, the decade service. Someone from each decade will answer the question, Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? We had 11 speakers, but one of them is sick, so we have 10 speakers, ranging in age from 6 to 90. That's 84 years and 4 generations. I told them there are no wrong answers. And by this service, we create meaningful connections within our congregation and between the ages. So I'd like to introduce to you our speakers. So if you'd stand when I call your name and stay standing till everyone's up. Randall Johnson and his mom, Katrina. Avery Jo Ford and her Nana, Sherry McTee. Out of order. Sophia Hartenstein, Nathan Hughes, Clay Roper, Tam Paquette, Jerry Sokolowski, and Marion Leonard. Thank you to all of you for this gift to us. We also have a special guest musician today, my dear friend Rob Doak, sitting back there. Rob is a master guitarist and has one of my favorite voices of all time. Rob has played at my wedding, at Nathan's adoption party, at Dave's memorial service, and a whole lot of times before and since. So thank you, Rob, for being here. I'd like to extend a special welcome to any guests or newcomers, visitors for the first time or second time. We'd love to stay connected, so if you would please sign up at the back, we'll give you more communication, no, less communications than you want. The Namaqua Unitarian Universalist Congregation fosters a beloved community that celebrates diversity, strives for peace and justice, acts mindfully for the good of the planet, and inspires spiritual growth through a free and loving search for truth and meaning. We honor the ground we walk upon and acknowledge that this land is the traditional and ancestral homeland of the Arapaho, Cheyenne, and Ute nations and peoples. We recognize and honor the indigenous peoples as original stewards of this land and vow to reconcile the deep wounds that still shape our world today. A few announcements. Martin Luther King will be the focus of next week's service, led by Reverend Dana Lightsey. I think she just entered the room, with help from Ryan and the marvelous choir. And then a little change has taken place behind me. We have merely created the palette for what's to come, and what's to come will be determined by the Aesthetics Committee. And if you'd like to join that and decide what we're going to do with our new palette, you can talk to Dana, and yeah. And then a personal mission of mine is to encourage everyone who can to donate blood. My dad lived 8 more years because there was an ample blood supply when he had an aneurysm. Right now, there is an urgent need for O-, and A- whole blood, but they'll take anything. I was told that 2% of the population is unable to give blood due to various medical conditions, and 1% of the population actually donates blood. So I bet there's a whole bunch of you who could. I'd like to thank everybody who has been involved in today's service. It feels like a small village, quite frankly. So we've got the sound and the Zoom techs, the ushers, the greeters, musicians, the quilt maker, the hospitality volunteers, the cleanup folk, all under the marvelous guidance of our minister, Reverend Dana Lightsey. And she's here today on her Sunday off. And thanks, Tam, for getting the tree down before the end of January. Okay.
Happy New Year, everyone. I'm glad to see you all today. I'm also glad to be a part of this service that embodies some of what I find most special about the new year, reflecting on what's gone by and looking forward to what's yet to come. It's a time of taking a different perspective on our lives, perhaps one that takes wing to loftier heights, rather than scurrying around with eyes next to the ground. We're all fortunate enough today to hear almost a dozen such perspectives, including those who are mainly looking forward, and those who embody a wealth of experience to reflect on as they continue to move into the future. To share those perspectives, we'll each be answering the question raised by Mary Oliver at the end of her poem, The Summer Day. She writes, "Who made the world? Who made the swan and the black bear? Who made the grasshopper? This grasshopper, I mean, the one who has flung herself out of the grass, the one who is eating sugar out of my hand, who is moving her jaws back and forth instead of up and down, who is gazing around with her enormous and complicated eyes. Now she lifts her pale forearms and thoroughly washes her face. Now she snaps her wings open and floats away. I don't know exactly what a prayer is. I do know how to pay attention, how to fall down into the grass, how to kneel down in the grass, how to be idle and blessed, how to stroll through the fields, which is what I have been doing all day. Tell me, what else should I have done? Doesn't everything die at last and too soon? Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? And we light this chalice to honor all the ways we live our wild and precious lives.
All please join me now in our congregational affirmation. Love is the spirit of this church, and service its law. This is our great congregation, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. And now I'd like it if you all turn to each other and greeted someone maybe you don't know, and and you're going to calm them down. And Sherry, Nana Sherry, read our story today. I'm going to sit down here.
Once upon a time, a long time ago, When princes and princesses lived in faraway kingdoms, royal children were given 12 special gifts when they were born. 12 wise women of the kingdom, or fairy godmothers as they were often called, traveled swiftly to the castle whenever a new prince or princess came into the world. Whenever a new prince, oh, I just said that. Each fairy godmother pronounced a noble gift upon the royal baby. As time went on, the wise women came to understand that the 12 royal gifts of birth belong to every child, born anywhere, at any time. They yearned to proclaim the gifts to all the children, but the customs of the land did not allow that. One day, when the wise women gathered together, they made this prophecy. Someday, when all the children of the world will learn the truth about their noble inheritance, when that happens, a miracle will unfold on the kingdom of earth. Someday is near. Here is the secret they want you to know. Okay. At the wondrous moment you were born, as you took your first breath, a great celebration was held in the heavens, and 12 magnificent gifts were granted to you. Did you turn the page? Next. Wait a second. Okay. There we go.
The first gift is strength. May you remember to call upon it whenever you need it. The second gift is beauty. May your deeds reflect its depth. The third gift is courage. May you speak and act with confidence and use your courage to follow your own path.
The fourth gift is compassion. May you be gentle with yourself and others. May you forgive those who hurt you and yourself when you made mistakes.
The fifth gift is hope. Through each passage and season, may you trust the goodness of life. The sixth gift is joy.
May it keep your heart open and filled with light.
The seventh gift is talent.
May you discover your own special abilities and contribute them toward a better world.
The eighth gift is imagination. May it nourish your visions and dreams.
The ninth gift is reverence. May you appreciate the wonder that you are and the miracle of all creation.
The 10th gift is wisdom.
Guiding your way, wisdom will lead you through knowledge to understanding. May you hear its soft voice.
The 11th gift is love.
It will grow each time you give it away.
The 12th gift is faith.
May you believe.
You can take the book if you want. Thank you, Sherry and Avery. That was really nicely done. Young, wild, and precious lives. Mark Houlihan said, if you want your life to be a magnificent story, then begin by realizing that you are the author. So let's get started with our wild and precious speakers. We're starting with the young'uns, and I would like to ask you in the congregation to say after they have finished, it's a blessing you were born, and it matters what you do. Thank you for being you. So our first speaker is Randall Johnson, and I think his mom's going to give him a hand. Katrina.
All right, how about we sit here? Okay. So we were asked to do this about a week ago or two on our way down to parties all holiday season. We asked Randall what he would do with his wild and precious life. Remember that?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. This was the first thing he said. Tell us about this, Randall.
I want to go around the world where I can't drive in an airplane.
Where he can't drive, so take the airplane. Okay. Let's see. The next thing he said was, oh wait, this might have been the first, excuse me. What does this represent?
Me, I want to get every soda in the world and taste it.
Okay, this was the next thing he said. What does he represent?
He represents me doing a animal care service.
He loves animals. Okay, so then we had a little pause, and then I thought, we should do 6 things. Why did I pick 6 things, you think?
Because I am 6.
That's right. So I don't remember which one was next, but one of these 2 was next. What does this guy represent? Oh, and I wanted him to think about what were some things in his life already that he really liked, or something like that. What was it? Whoop. He's gonna tell you. What is this?
A Ninja Kid action figure because I want to collect every Ninja Kid.
Every Ninja Kid. Yeah. And then what was something we've already done that you really liked?
Maybe 10 lightsabers.
Oh.
So Randall designed these himself, and we do Taekwondo, and these are called our kamas, huh? So he designed them to look like lightsabers. That's one of his favorite things. Pretty cool. Okay, and then the last thing, he said something else I can't remember, but then he changed his mind. What does this represent? Who is that?
My whole family, my cousins, my grandma.
And he said he wanted to do all of these things with us. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow. Dear Randall, it is a blessing you were born, and it matters what you do. Thank you for being you. Whoa, that's a lot of wisdom already. We've only gotten through number one. Next, we have Avery Joe Ford. And are you set up okay there? Okay.
All of the past years of my life, I've always tried to help and be kind. For example, on Halloween, when I was 3, my family and I were walking while trick-or-treating. Then the girl in front of us, about my age, fell. Then something clicked. I sat down my candy bucket and I helped her pick up her candy. Then soon after, I realized that I may have made her day, but I made mine and I made me feel great. So I always tried to be kind. So, I could be a doctor, an apartment manager, a teacher, or even a hairstylist. But whatever I end up doing, since I don't know what, I just know that I want to help every day. And I could be something completely different. But I know if I get to help, I'll be great. If I can feel like how I did when I picked up the girl's candy for her, if I can feel like that every day, I'll be great. So with my one wild and precious life, I would like to help.
Dear Avery, it's a blessing you were born, and it matters what you do. Thank you for being you. Next, we have Sophia Hartenstein. You want to come up here? Sophia is Sally Henry's granddaughter, and her dad, Kurt, is here today, too. If you want to come up here, Sophia, either way, wherever you'd like.
Hi, I'm Sophia Hartenstein. I am 12 years old and in 6th grade at Lyons Middle Senior High School. Sally Henry is my grandmother. The first thing I want to do with my life is finish middle school so that I can go to high school and then college. I want to do these things because getting a good education is how you get a good life. I think that school will help me figure out what I want to do with my life. The middle and high school I attend is Lyons Middle Senior High School. Right now, I am interested in reading, basketball, and volleyball, geology and playing the clarinet, acting, and being with my friends. I like to read, and I am hoping to visit places around the world that I have read about. This year, I am visiting New York City because my mom has a business trip there. One location I want to visit is almost anywhere in Europe, specifically Athens, Greece, Rome, Italy, or London, England. I also want to skydive with my dad when I graduate from high school. And that is all I have.
Dear Sophia, blessing you were born, and it matters what you do. Thank you for being you. All right, Nathan, it's your turn. Nathan is my son, and Clay's going to give him a little moral support here. Here you go, babe.
All right, let's see how we do this. That was not supposed to be funny. Hi, my name is Nathan Hughes, and I'm 29 years old. I turned 30 in September, and I'm looking forward to being successful in a lot of ways. I love my cats, Laney and Billie Eilish. I also love dogs, ducks, fainting goats, and bison. I feel calm and happy. Maybe I will work within. I got lost again.
So you think you want to work with animals?
Yeah.
In some way.
I want to work with animals in some way, and I'm just not sure.
Make you feel calm with nothing. Maybe you'll work on a farm, or maybe up to the next part.
Or an animal shelter. I want to swim with sharks. My mom is my biggest support in my life. that I start taking care of her as she gets older. I love my friends, Rob and Russ, and many more. When I think about what I want to do with the next part of my wild and precious life, I think about getting a girlfriend. I don't see why that was so funny.
It's sweet.
All right, that's it for me.
You want to read the rest?
No,
No?
I'm getting too nervous.
Yeah, I get you.
I really want you to tell about your new home.
Oh.
Yeah. There we go.
Mom, will you stand up here with me? I just moved into a new home with a family that is very thoughtful, kind, and calm and fun. The mom's name is Tensi, and the dad's name is Ian. And 3 boys, Josie, Amen, and Fleeker.
What does Fleeker mean?
Don't know. Love.
A lot easier to say, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Plus another client and a dog. They are from Ethiopia, and they make darn good food. I even thought it was all new. It's really nice. This is my new beginning. It's time to settle in. I am hoping to travel more, new things, meet new people, try new foods, and have a good new experience. Let's get wild.
Dear Nathan, it's a blessing you were born, and it matters what you do. Thank you for being you. Thank you all for your good thoughts and your bravery. Each week you support the work of this congregation in all the ways we live our values in the world through your own generosity. In addition to supporting this church, half of your donations support a local nonprofit organization, helping us to make a difference beyond our walls. In January and February, our donations support Heart and Soul of Loveland. This is a nonprofit made up of Black, Indigenous, people of color, and allies who works to promote ethnic and cultural diversity in the Loveland community with partnerships throughout northern Colorado. Their goal is to support, celebrate, and embrace cultural richness for our community, and they are also the organizer of the Martin Luther King celebration on Monday, January 15th. Please give generously. We're going to listen to my friend Rob as we collect your contributions. And he's got a song that I love and that he sings really well. And Jimmy Buffett was not the most politically correct songwriter. So I don't know if you've changed any words, but if not, I think he was a Unitarian.
Check, check. Mother Ocean, I've heard you call. Wanted to sail on your waters, and I was 3 feet tall. You've seen it all.
So we're moving up in the age brackets a little bit. Let's see what our middle group has to tell us. Katrina, would you like to start? Katrina Johnson.
Hello. Hey. So I'm in the 30 to 40 range. And before I get into what I am excited about doing in the future, I would like to acknowledge to myself and my husband and my family and all of you the wild and precious things I fought for in the past 37 years. I had a difficult upbringing, and one of the things I never thought I would be able to have a family because of how difficult that was. And I worked really hard, and my husband Chris worked really hard, and we did a lot of therapy, and I did a lot of therapy. And finally, there was a day where my dream of having my own children could come true. And so we worked really hard, and we had our precious sons, Randall and Everett. And that is something, a wild and precious experience and unbelievable blessing that I'm really excited to have, and keep pinching myself like this is real, this is here, we're here, and these beings I get to be with for as long as I'm here, maybe beyond. So I'm really excited about that. So I just want to acknowledge that. And then in my past life, the past 30 years, I got my master's in acting, and I did a lot of fun stuff, like was in movies and theaters, shows, and TV shows, and lots of singing and dancing and acting and all the fun things, and that was really fun. And I took a little pause to have my wild and precious children. And now moving forward, I would really love to prepare and enter a ballroom dance competition. I would really love to own a cat and build us a catio outside. I would really love to be self-sufficient. So I've been working on gardening, and this year I want to venture into canning. So if any of you all know how to can and want to be my mentor, this thing. I'd love to get my stage combat certification. Would be extra fun to do with my boys, because I like to specialize in like stage movement, so dance movement, and then it would be fun to do all the stage combat things. A big dream of mine is to open a social dance business where I teach communities to dance together, help bring some structure back into it, and bring people together for wholesome connections. I'd love to join a band again. I'd really love to sing with my sons, join a choir together, start a jam band, do some drum circles, dance and play music with my husband and sons. I would love a garden tub someday, and maybe a nurse ship. We'll see. Thank you, guys.
Blessing you were born, and it matters what you do. Thank you for being you. That was beautiful. I could have used you for the stage management of this operation today, Katrina. Next, we have Clay Roper. Thank you.
Mary Oliver asks us, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? I have a tiny bone to pick with the poet over the wording in this phrase. I mean, as far as I know, this is my one and only life. Although sometimes I imagine that if it isn't, I'd choose the path of a bodhisattva, and I'd continue what I do in this life into the next, and the next, and the following myriad lives, until we're all free of suffering. No, the quibble I have is with the words, "you're one." as if it is something I own and it is mine alone, as though my life can somehow be extracted from the lives of those around me. Like you could reach in with pinchers and pluck a single wriggling wave out of the ocean and hold it separate without it dissolving into foam and vapor. To me, the only way to frame anyone's life as one is as part of the oneness of all of our lives together, the unity of all of life, of which I am a minute piece. In that vein, I recently recalled a determination I made as a younger man whose idealism and earnestness were forefront. I decided then that what I wanted to do with my life was not to be a writer or a paleontologist or a digital technology manager, but to be a friend. To count as most precious those moments spent making and sharing space with others who are also a part of this wild, riotous garden of life. That's it then. That's my simple answer. Of course, I want to write and make music and spend more time with family and in nature and work less and play more. There are plenty of ways I can list out the details, but the specificities of the places, events, and all the other arrangements of circumstances are, well, details. So, Mary and fellow Namaquans, I will tell you what I plan to do with this, with my part of this one wild and precious life. It is to be as fully a part of this shared life as I can, by being present and caring for those around me and accepting care, by being in loving community, by making meaning together, by being a friend.
It's what you do. Thank you for being you. Do you want to take this with you? Okay. All right. And now we have Tam.
Mary Oliver asked us what we're gonna do with our one and precious life. So I sat in my chair and I pondered the air to wonder what that looked like. But my brain went backwards, stuck in my remorse. I hoped I wouldn't do things I did back then in 2024. 2024, it's what I'm looking towards. I don't know a thing about what's happening, but may I have some more of 2024. 2024, oh, I can't change the past, but I can look ahead to make things right and really do my best. At this age, it's awesome. There's so much fun in store. Plenty to stay inspired is all I desire, and the health to let me go into 2024. Kathy Hartman asked me what I'm gonna do with my one wild and precious life. So I sat in my chair and decided right there, having fun feels just right.
Dear Tam, it's a blessing you were born, and it matters what you do. Thank you for being you. I told them they could sing a song, they could write a poem, they could do whatever. So there you go. So we were going to have Julie pass, but she is down with a virus, with a rash and a fever, and she didn't want to hand it off to all of you. So If she's on Zoom, we send her our loving thoughts and healing thoughts, and hope we'll see her again soon. And I hope she'll still be in her 60s next year, and we'll get her then. So thank you all. We come together each week to share our lives and to care for each other through all that life brings. Because we have such a packed service today, we're not going to come up and do joys and sorrows, but I would ask you to turn to someone if you have something on your mind, if you have something that's going on that you want to share, go ahead and do that. And if the pastoral care team needs to hear from you for something you need, be sure and let us know, and you can write it on one of the forms we have in the back. So let's go ahead and do that and take a little time just to share some joys and sorrows with each other. No wonder. Okay, everyone, thank you for pulling it together. So let's also keep in our hearts those people who are suffering in Palestine and Israel and Ukraine and any other place in the world, and those who are close to our hearts. Let's listen to Rob do a really beautiful song, Remember When.
Yeah, check 1, 2. Remember when I was young and so weak, time stood still and love was all we knew. You were the first, so was I. We made love and then you cried. Remember when? Gave our hearts, made us hard. It was hard to live and learn life through curves. There was joy and there was hurt and blue. Old ones died and new were born. Changed, disassembled, rearranged. We came together, we fell apart. and we broke each other's hearts. Remember when? Remember when the sound of little feet was the music that we danced to week, brought back the love we found, trust, vowed we'd never give it up. Remember when? Remember when we said when we turn gray, when the children grow up and move away, we won't be sad, we'll be glad for all the life we've had. We'll remember when. Ooh, remember when?
Thank you, Rob. Do I get a hug? Thank you. Sorry for that sound glitch. Well, it's time for our elders. And I only say that because they're all just a smidge older than me. Cherry, you're first. Cherry Sokolowski.
Okay, I'm not used to standing up this high. Anyway, I'm Cherry, and I'm 77. So even though I don't feel old, somehow in the 70s it struck me that a good share of my life is behind me. But I still have some ahead. But anyway, it does make one look at priorities. So I have a little story to tell along that line. It's a story about a professor who was talking to his students about life. He brought in a big vase, and first he put golf balls in it, more and more and more until the vase was full. So he asked the students, well, is it full? And they said, yeah, it's full. Then he gets a bag of small rocks, and he pours that in, and they fit around the golf balls. So he said to his students, well, now is it full? And they said, yes, it's full. Then he gets a bucket of sand and pours that in, and by golly, it fits all around those little rocks and the golf balls and fills the vase up to the top. And it's pretty full. Finally, though, he takes 2 glasses of wine and pours those in. And they fit in too because they're absorbed by the sand. So the professor says the lesson in this is the golf balls represent what's really important in your life. The little rocks represent things that are less important, but still that you probably want to be doing. And the sand represents things that maybe aren't really adding joy to your life, but that just fill up time. So he said the interesting thing about this is if you reversed the process and filled up the vase with sand first, there would not be room for the golf balls. So then a student asked, well, what about those 2 glasses of wine? And he said, well, there's always time for a glass of wine with friends. So for me, the golf balls are things like friends and family and taking care of people, keeping myself healthy, making music, and being out in nature. But my main goal for this year and coming years is, because there's always a lot of obligations and responsibilities too that we all have, is to live joyfully with all of it. The things I really like to do, and also obligations and responsibilities. The two things that are helping me along that line are the Book of Joy, which some of you remember Janan kind of introduced us to before Christmas. It's a conversation between the Dalai Lama and Desmond Tutu. And then the other thing that's going to help me is going back to a practice of meditation. So that's what I plan to do with this year and hopefully beyond. And so to sum it up, I want to maybe sing a little chorus from a song I heard downtown not too long ago. It was a band called Wild Elderberries. And some of my friends like Sue Matthews dragged me down there to hear them, and I absolutely loved it. So here's the chorus from one of their songs, if I can get my voice to work. It's not over yet, not by any means. It's not over yet, we still have dreams. Amen to that.
It's a blessing you were born, and it matters what you do. Thank you for being you. Our next presenter is Sherry McTee. And she is representing the decade of the 80s. And lo and behold, she comes to it fresh. She's not even 24 hours into being 80. Her birthday was yesterday, and I just found out that Clay's birthday is today, so we're going to sing them both happy birthday. What's that?
You make him up here?
Yes. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Clay. Happy birthday to you. All right, Sherry.
You almost stole my opening paragraph here. Because I was going to say, when Kathy asked me to speak about being 80, I said, sure, not realizing that talk would come the day after I turned 80. So I've only been 21 hours into this, so don't expect a whole lot of advice about how to handle the 80s, because I really don't know very much about that yet, but I have plans, okay? So I was born at 1:29 p.m., 80 years and 21 hours ago. Can you imagine that? I still can't get my head around it. So there are certain factors to my story that are perhaps a little bit unusual and maybe rare in this day and age. For instance, I fell in love with a boy when I was in the 3rd grade, and he was the son of my parents' best friends. And so even though we never lived closer than 350 miles, we lived on letters and rare visits until we couldn't, we grew up, we got married, and then we shared our blessings of family, and we lived in just 2 homes in 35 years, which I understand is kind of unusual. And together we spent 57 years of living and loving and sharing so many adventures. Yes, I have already had a wild and precious life, but there's more to come, I'm hoping. So 80 has always sounded so far away. And when I was about 50, I read a book that said we should all think about the time left factor. Now, Avery, your time left factor is probably not even an issue in your little mind, but when the older you get, the time left factor becomes like, how am I going to spend my time and what is important? So it seemed so far away that I wasn't concerned about it. And then I wasn't really thinking of 80 at all. And then two little incidents happened that sort of woke me up. And one was to be with my family, and we were playing a game called That's It. And the answer, or the question was, something you might decide to have straightened. And my granddaughter said, it was for me, the question was for me, wrinkles out of your face. And her brother said, Avery, you need to be nice to old people. So I moved here, and a couple of months after I came here, I was shopping and I was getting ready to go into an office supply store, and there was a young man holding the hand of his little 4-year-old in front of me. And the little boy turned to his dad and said, Dad, why is that old lady following us? Well, you know what I did? I turned around to see who was behind me. It gets better. We got in the store and they turned to the right, which is exactly where I needed to go, okay? So I'm still behind them, and he's like, Dad. And the dad says, just be quiet, don't keep asking that. It's not nice, it makes people feel bad. I heard him say that, and he said, why would she feel bad? She is old. Okay, so in looking towards age, I have just two little things that really helped. One of my children brought home a magazine, and the article was 99 things to do before you die. And they listed 99 things. I thought, well, wow, I don't even know if I could think of that many, but that's, a good thought. But it sounded kind of morbid to me, so I changed it to things to do before I'm 99. And it became a lot of fun, because then you can update it. You can update it every few years. You'd be surprised what you add on and what you take off. My list is much shorter than it was when I started about 30 years doing this. Anyway, nothing I don't think is more precious than family and friends. At this point, when I look forward, I think that's what is absolutely the most important thing for me anyway. Making new memories and cherishing the stories and the adventures that we've already had. There are 6 little people, big people sitting here in this row, this first 2 rows, that have added so much joy and adventures. They're my 6 grandchildren right there. Avery and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They are my joy so much. So ask yourself, what is important? When you wake up in the morning and you have that whole day ahead of you, how do you spend that time? Do you spend it like the sand, or is it the golf ball that you could keep, and maybe someday someone will read it, or someday someone will see it, and it will have been time that you spent that was very, very valuable, that you can pass on any way that you want. So without saying anything to Mary Oliver, who, by the way, is my absolute favorite poet, and I was so glad you read the whole poem, because the whole poem is so beautiful. But I just want to close with the fact that 80 doesn't sound so far away anymore. And the time left factor is a factor that's beginning to register, because before I wasn't even imagining being 80. So I'm just going to put everything I have into it with joy and wildness and passion, and it's going to be a great next 10 years, I'm sure. Thank you. Oh.
You were born, and it matters what you do. Thank you for being you. Well, our final speaker is going to give us all the wisdom in the world, I bet. So Marion Leonard is going to give us our last presentation.
Life gets complicated sometimes. This assignment is easy. I'll just tell you, I stopped worrying about anything. Wait, I just stopped that years ago. Maybe concern about my failing body, concerned about dying or after death. Well, I'm comfortable with those things. No, the rest of my life, however long that may be, what will guide me? Maybe it's not a simple question after all. 20 years ago, I knew everything about everything. I'm amazed at how much I've learned since then. I do struggle to understand at least part of what I learned. A Namaqua experience can clarify what I mean, what I want. At a service, a woman explained a religious class she had took here. She liked parts of all religions, except nudism, of course. Why? The rest, her response delighted me. I just suspect she had never looked at that question. Looking at things differently. That's what I do. What do I enjoy now? Learning new things, clarifying how I feel about important things, convincing people that there's more to options that really aren't facts, convincing UUs as well as liberals, conservatives, and those with other labels. The future, my future, as of now, I intend to keep on keeping on, but I also intend to stay open to new, challenging, and new changes in my direction whenever appropriate. So thank you all, not for listening, but for encouraging me to think in different ways. That's a Unitarian Universalist thing. Thank you.
It's a blessing you were born, and it matters what you do. Thank you for being you. So while Marion's still standing, let's have everybody stand who's spoken, and let's give them a big round of applause. I want to thank you all for your strength, beauty, courage, compassion, hope, joy, talent, imagination, reverence, wisdom, love, and faith. So those of you who are following the program, I'm flipping the last two things around because I have seen what can happen with our last song, Let It Be a Dance. All of a sudden everybody starts dancing and I can't get you back for the chalice extinguishing. So I'm going to ask Dana, Reverend Dana, to come up and do our chalice extinguishing, and then we'll do the song. Yeah, I have it right here for you. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's the green mic, number 1. What a joy. What a wonderful day today. It's been great. And thank you, all of our speakers, just amazing. These words are from Wendell Berry, The Larger Circle. We clasp the hands of those that go before us and the hands of those that come after us. In fact, I'm going to start over because I want to invite you to stand and join with me and reach out to those around you in any way that feels comfortable to you and feels comfortable to them. Hands on shoulders, holding hands, whatever is meaningful. Thank you. That feels better. Now we can do this. Thank you.
That's why we have a minister. She just knows what to do.
I've done it a couple times. So once again, from Wendell Berry, we clasp the hands of those that go before us and the hands of those that come after us. We enter the little circle of each other's arms and the larger circle of lovers whose hands are joined in a dance, and the larger circle of all creatures passing in and out of life, who move in a dance to the subtle music and vast that no one hears it except in fragments. I'm going to read that last part again. The larger circle of lovers whose hands are joined in a dance, and the larger circle of all creatures. All right, imagine all the creatures in your life, passing in and out of life, who also move in a dance to the music so subtle and vast that no one hears it except in fragments. And I think we might want to stay standing while we sing, Let It Be a Dance. Let it be a dance.